and the Phoenix Suns backcourt. That's it. 120 to 109. How about Chris Paul in this game? 19 assists, 17 points, 4 turnovers. Meanwhile, DeAndre Ayton destroyed Sacramento, 29 points, 11 rebounds. And then Mr. King Killer, all right, Devin Booker with just a monster game. Just a monster game. Typical. The Phoenix Suns. All right. Was DeAndre Ayton the difference? No. The difference was Paul, Booker, and Ayton. All right. There you have it. Well, you're not getting a big man. All right. It's the All-Star break. You know, they lost to a good team. Phoenix has been playing very well. Very well. Final score 120 to 109. Really good to have you here on the Kings post-game show. Well, the beam is going to be dark a while because the Kings don't play until after the All-Star break at home against Portland. And the final score tonight, 120 to 109. Can you imagine this Phoenix team when they get their man back, right? And the man I'm talking about is Kevin Durant. Could you imagine that? Sabonis had 24 points and 15 rebounds. I wouldn't say he made him look silly, but it's a tough matchup, you know? Absolutely. This one, do the Kings have a chance to beat the Suns with Kevin Durant? I don't think so. No. Not with Paul, Booker, and Ayton playing like that. No, I don't think so. I don't see it happening. But that's okay. You don't have to beat the Suns to have a successful season like Sacramento was thinking. All right. Post-game show, 120 to 109. Ryan in Sacktown will be joining us here in a little bit. We hope to be able to connect with Dorian, who's been a phenomenal supporter of this show. We're trying to get his audio, all right, going. The internet has been a little sketchy for Ryan, and I am okay. So we're working on that. Ryan's internet's going in and out. Dorian can't hear me right now, but we'll get that going. 120 to 109. Here's the scores by quarter. 29 to 27. Sacramento by 2 in the first. 35 to 29. The Suns won the second quarter. Third quarter, even at 28. Kings were down 11 in that third. They did a nice job to come back to keep it a 4-point game going into the fourth. But that fourth quarter was all Phoenix. All Phoenix. 30 to 23. 120 to 109. Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox played 39 minutes in this game. 35 points on only 22 shots. That's a very efficient game. Made 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. 7 of 8 from the foul line. You know, the thing about Fox tonight, though, he had 4 assists and 5 turnovers. So that's a little bit of an issue, you know, the 5 turnovers. All right? So give me your thoughts. Trying to hook up with Ryan here and Dorian, so that's why I'm looking at my phone. And we'll get them on as soon as we can. All right, give me some more messages on the chat. We'll go with that. And it is the All-Star break. All right, something I want to do. It's the All-Star break. I'm going to give you my grade for the Kings through the first part of the season. This team has 32 wins. All right? They have 32 wins, and they have 25 losses. My grade is an A. I can't give them an A+ because they've had too many losses to bad teams. All right? The Charlottes of the world, the Washingtons, things of that nature. New Orleans the other night without anybody playing. So I can't give the Kings an A+, but I'm giving them an A. What is your grade for the first part of this season as we get ready for the stretch drive? I got to give him an A. How could you give him anything less than an A? 32-25, number 3 seed in the West. I don't see how you could give him anything less than an A, but we got a couple of Bs coming in. I don't see it. I don't see a B. They're 3rd in the West. How do you give him a B? You know, A++. I can't give them an A++ because they have too many losses to teams that they should not have lost to. You know, I can't do that. For the people that are giving Bs, be a little bit more. Now tell me why a B. I don't understand the B. How do you give them a B? All right. How do you give them a B? I don't understand that. Incredible. A-. I'm okay with an A-. It's got to be an A, though. Well, when you say they're not a top-tier team, I'm not judging them as a top-tier team. I'm judging the Kings on the totality of the record. I'm not judging them against Boston, Denver, and Milwaukee. Stop it, okay? I'm judging them on their expectations for this year and where they are at the All-Star break. They're 32-25. So, you know, how do you not give them an A? Most people didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. All right, and they're 3rd in the West. They're 32-25. All right. I like this. This is good. A for offense, C for defense, rounded out a B+. All right. All right. So, again, how's it anything less than an A? Raise your hand if you thought the Kings would have more than 32 wins at the All-Star break. Raise your hand if you thought the Kings would have anywhere near 30 wins at the All-Star break. Thank you very much for the donation on the Super Chat, Alex. We greatly appreciate that. How is that? We're going to give him a B? I mean, come on now. Again, thank you very much for the donation. We appreciate it. Someone says it's an A. We haven't made the playoffs in over 15 years. I'll take the 3rd seed at this point all day. Amen. That's exactly right. You know, this is a good one. Maybe these non-A fans haven't been watching what we've been watching for 17 years. Oh, nothing wrong with a B. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a B except for it should be an A. All right, you just aced your final exam, and instead of you getting an A, the teacher gave you a B, and you're like, what the hell do I have to do to get an A? That's what you're saying to your teacher. You're going, wait a minute, you gave me a B. I just did an A exam. I wrote an A paper. How do I get a B? How do I get a B? Well, there were a couple people in the class that did better than you. The guy from Boston did better than you. The guy in Denver did better than you. The guy in Milwaukee did. Who the hell cares? I don't care about Boston, Denver, and Milwaukee. I care about the exam and paper I handed in to you. Was it not an A paper? Yes, it was. Well, then give me an A. The Kings are 32-25. You know? Unbelievable. A-. Only because there were a few losses that shouldn't have happened. Charlotte, Washington, Atlanta. I get that. I'm okay with an A-, but not a B. You know? All right, what about the teams that they shouldn't have beat that they did beat? Do you forget about those? What about beating Cleveland twice when Cleveland was hot as hell? That doesn't count? You know? Come on now. All right, Eli checking in. Grant, you've been saying the Kings have been playing well for the past month. How do you reconcile that with an A? Eli! They're 32-25. Eli, they're 3rd in the West. They're 32-25. Where did you have the Kings before the season, Eli? Did you have them 3rd in the West with 32 wins at the All-Star break? How the hell do you not give them an A? And they haven't been playing well the last couple of weeks. And that's even a further testament to how good their season's been. Because they haven't been playing well, and they're still 3rd in the West. You know, that's another reason why I give him an A. Come on. Unbelievable. Someone says, wake up, Eli. Eli, wake up is right. And I love Eli. He's a big-time supporter of what we do here. Fiery rant. My goodness, Grant, that is not a fiery rant. You want a fiery rant, give me a title, give me a topic, and I'll be doing it. You know, all right. I bet they would go 36 plus on a season and make the playoffs. Well, good. Then I guess you're going to win your money then. All right? Unbelievable right now. Grant's rant, 100%. Yeah, give me some rant ideas. I'll be coming right at you. Hey, I want to tell you about New Works Plumbing of Sacramento. Locally owned for over 20 years, New Works has a fix for you. For your plumbing needs and repairs, just go to sacserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. And remember that New Works is available 24/7. So, if you have an emergency in the middle of the night, no problem. They'll be there. New Works Plumbing, they're awesome. sacserviceplumbing.com, or again, the number on your screen. This is fun. I love the grades. All right. I love the grades. Keep them coming. All right. We got NBA guru Zach, who screws up everybody on the road with the metered ramps in Sacramento. If people expect you to be the 8 to 10 seed before the season and are currently third, then you should be getting an A. No questions. NBA guru Zach. Spot on, my friend. NBA guru Zach. 100% correct. Thank you. Absolutely. All right. 20 to 109. Paul, amazing. Ayton, amazing. Devin Booker was Devin Booker. Let me ask you this. When the Phoenix Suns get Kevin Durant on the floor, are they going to win the championship? Wow. How about that? All right, let's see if we can get hooked up with Ryan in Sacktown. Ryan? Well, I guess the answer to that question is no. He's having some internet problems. All right? Amazing. Someone says, that was an A+ in entertainment, ripping off your glasses and shouting. Big time energy. Well, I only know about energy. I always bring the energy, Tired of hearing Booker's name tonight. Well, guess what? Every time the Kings play Booker, you'll hear his name a lot. You know why? Because he kills the Kings every single time they play him. There you go. NBA Guru predicted the Kings would only win 25 games. A lot of people predicted that. I don't have a problem with that. 120 to 109. The second quarter and the fourth quarters were the problem for Sacramento tonight. So you go into the All-Star break 32 and 25, third seed in the West, 15 and 13 on the road. Right now, the Clippers are playing the Warriors, and it's 81 to 76. All right, now let me give you the updated standings as we get into the West. Now, there were still some more games tomorrow and then again on Thursday. So keep that in mind as we're going over the standings. And again, the Clippers are playing the Warriors right now. So Sacramento goes into the break at 32 and 25. Phoenix also plays one more game before the break. They play the Clippers. So right now, the Suns are one game behind Sacramento. 7.5 back are the Kings, 8.5 back are the Suns. The Mavericks are currently 31 and 28. They are right now 2 games behind Sacramento. The Clippers are 31 and 28. They are currently 2 games behind Sacramento. All right. And again, they're playing the Warriors right now. And they play the Suns coming up on Thursday. Then you have the Pelicans, also with 28 losses, 2.5 games back. Minnesota with 29 losses, 2.5 back. Golden State, again, they're either going to win or lose tonight. They are currently a total of 3 games back of Sacramento. And then the Jazz are 4 games back. But keep in mind, the standings are going to change based on the outcome of that Clippers-Warriors game. If the Clippers win, they will only be a game and a half behind Sacramento. And again, the Phoenix Suns play the Clippers coming up on Thursday. So there you have it. Those are your standings in the West. All right? Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that. Thank you. It is a very close race. And that's why, Maureen, every single game is absolutely crucial. Absolutely crucial. If I'm being honest, Phoenix will pass us in the standings. They will pass you. That's okay. Listen, it's okay if teams pass you in the standings. Here's the goal right now. Let's just call it the way it is. The goal right now is not to be third in the West, okay? If you're going to be objective about this and you're going to be realistic, here's the goal for Sacramento. The goal is to be 6th or higher, because if you're 6th or higher, you don't have to be in the play-in. And here's why I say that this year. I don't have a crystal ball any more than you do. But if you're in the play-in tournament, you could be playing a healthy Golden State team or a healthy Lakers team. And I don't like those numbers if I'm Sacramento. I do not want to play the Warriors in a play-in game. Not if Steph Curry's on the floor. Don't want to go there. I don't want to play the Lakers in a play-in game if they have LeBron and AD healthy. Don't want to do it. So the goal right now, forget about number 3. I know it's all sexy and, we all get off on the fact that, gee, the Kings are 3rd in the West. Okay. Here's where you need to be if you're a Kings fan right now. Make sure you finish in the top 6. And right now, the bridge between where the Kings are and the 7th place team is 2.5 games. There you have it. Okay. That's the goal. Don't worry about being 3rd or 4th. Be top 6. That's where you want to be. All right. Somebody said this. Fox and Sabonis need help. They can't win every game for the Kings. The players need to step it up. I would agree this is going to take a concerted team effort with the schedule upcoming. All right. Monk is hurt, but you know what? He's missed his 2nd straight game. Lydia, the Kings just beat Dallas with Monk on the bench, so that doesn't fly with me. Hey, Lydia, the Phoenix Suns played tonight with a guy by the name of Kevin Durant. Have you heard of him? I know you have. You're a big-time fan. You can't use a player missing a game. You just can't go there. You really can't. All right, let's see if we got Ryan back with good internet. Ryan, can you hear me, my friend?
Yeah, I got you. You got me?
I got you good. And are we good to go to Dorian?
Not yet. He is having an issue, but we are still efforting right now.
All right, no problem. All right, so let me get your impressions. We talked about Ayton at the half. We talked about Ayton at the half. He killed Sacramento. But you know what? Not any more than Chris Paul killed him or Devin Booker. Those 3 guys were just too much to handle for the Kings tonight.
Yeah, they were. When you get all 3 of them going at the same time, watch out. And that doesn't even have Durant added into the mix yet. But, I don't think the Kings played a bad game. But credit to Phoenix. They definitely came out, won this game. Kings did not deserve to win.
I agree with you. I don't think the Kings played a bad game. I thought they got beat by a team that was better tonight. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think when you have Paul, Ayton, and Booker playing like that, they're a better team than Sacramento. And that doesn't even include Kevin Durant. Can you imagine how good this team's going to be when KD gets on the floor?
It's scary, Grant, if they can figure it out. And the scary thing is Durant's not needy with the ball, right? He doesn't have to have it always in his hands. So that's what makes it really, really cool for them.
All right. As I go to this sponsor, I want you to think about this. While you were figuring out the internet there with some issues, I gave grades for the first part of the season now that we're at the All-Star break. I gave the Kings an A, and the reason why I didn't give them an A+ is because they had a couple of bad losses, Charlotte at home, Atlanta at home, Washington at home, but I gave them an A. I also said, I don't know how anyone can give them under an A. They're 3rd in the West and 32-25 at the break. To me, that's an A. I'm going to talk about Bennett's, and then you give me your grade. Bennett's with 2 locations in Roseville and Sacramento. Of course, in Roseville on Eureka, right near Lead Hill Boulevard, and in Sacramento on the corner of Howe and Fair Oaks. Don't forget about their weekend brunch. I love the redfish. The prime seafood is great. The redfish is my favorite, along with a side of sauteed spinach that comes with the redfish. If you're in the steaks, I'm telling you, it's tough to beat the bone-in ribeye. They have the prime New York. The porterhouse is phenomenal. They also have hanger steak. It's all there for you at Bennett's. They're going to add a 3rd location coming soon to Blue Oaks Town Center. And don't forget, Bennett's, a big-time supporter of the Sacramento Kings. All right, Rhino, what's your grade for the first part of the season?
Grant, when I
all right, I got to put him back in the audience. We're having internet problems again from the household there in Sacramento. Mitchell is not doing anything. Absolutely. All right. Mitchell is not doing anything offensively. You're right. He hasn't all year, and he's not going to. All right. You just have to accept that's who he is. All right. I've been talking about this all year. It's okay. He's in his 2nd year. Okay. He has limitations offensively. All right. He has limitations offensively. And I'm just sending a message to Dorian. He still cannot hear me. So I see that he is waiting to come on. But I want to get Dorian on because he's a wild card winner. So what we'll do is we're going to move Dorian to the next post-game show, and he can join us then for his donation on the super chat. Murray's okay, but he's a rookie. All right. And rookies are going to be inconsistent. And I'm okay with that. All right. Like, for instance, you look at Murray tonight, played 21 minutes, only 2 of 7, 6 points. He was minus 16 for the game. So he didn't, again, he didn't play well. All right. Sabonis was minus 19 for the game. Keep that in mind. He was minus 19. So you're going to have games like that. You're going to have games like that. Somebody said that 3-point shot by CP3 in the middle of the fourth was the moment we lost the game. You lost by 11. I'm not so sure I would say that. I agree with you. It was a big shot, but I'm not so sure that was the case. All right. So, all right, Dorian, I'm just going to go with you and see if you can hear me and if I can hear you. Can you hear me at all or not?
Hey, Grant, I can hear you.
Good. All right, we're on a little bit delay. First of all, I want to say thank you for your support. I really appreciate all the support here on our platforms, and I appreciate that. And thank you very much for your donation. So I want to start off with that. Thank you so much. Give me your thoughts on the game tonight.
I thought the Kings played a really well-rounded game. Unfortunately, they lost. Played really well. Paul played really well. I thought the Kings, they played a pretty good, Jonas had 24. Fox, had 35. I thought Kevin had a pretty good shooting night too. He was for the team and for the players. I thought Terrence Davis, brought some pretty good energy like he always does. I feel like, but he tries to be as energetic as he can and provide some value for the team. So the game with Ayton in the first half, I thought Ayton was just a monster, playing really well. I thought the Kings lost the game.
Hey, for the people that don't know a lot about you, you played football at Sac State. What years were you at Sac State?
I played football at Sacramento State and graduated in 2010 and 2015. Just an amazing experience. I love Sacramento State. It's a beautiful part of my life to have, gone through that and be an alumni now.
All right, so let's get back to the Kings. I gave them an A, Dorian, at 30
Sure.
or 32 and 25 at the break. Give me your letter grade. What grade are you giving the Kings?
I'm with you, Grant. There, for the Kings being the third seed, I don't think anybody would have thought the Kings would be. So I'm giving the Kings an A. The last 5 games, I'm giving them a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
That first game, 140, great game. That second game, Jalen Green almost beat the Kings by himself. The Mavericks, they let the Mavericks score 45 in the first quarter, and then that fourth game night, unfortunately they didn't like the beam. So I'm giving the Kings the B minus the last 5 games. But overall,
good for you. And I want to say thank you for going to Bennett's and saying you heard about them on my post-game show. It means a lot. Dorian, listen, buddy, I'm going to let you go. I want to say thank you for your patience tonight with the internet. Again, thank you for your support. It's not going unnoticed. I respect and appreciate everything you've done. And thanks for joining me, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Grant, it's an honor to be on your stream and to talk Sacramento Kings. I think about you and Jerry. I'll be 30 here in April, and those early 2000s and Jerry doing play-by-play, just amazing memories for myself. I just couldn't wait to get home and listen to you guys. So thank you so much. If you're watching, subscribe, download, listen to Grant, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. sometimes during the weekdays to be on your stream. Go Kings.
Thank you, buddy. That's good stuff from Dorian, my agent, promoting everything I'm doing. I love that. Thank you, Dorian. That's good stuff right there. All right. So again, the final score tonight, 120 to 109. And we apologize for some of the internet problems with Ryan and Dorian. I think the Kings lost the game when TD had 3 bad plays and turnovers in a row in the third. Could not dig out of that hole. Anita, I think there's a lot of truth to that. That was a very bad stretch by TD there. I think you're absolutely spot on. Absolutely. Good job right there. I think you're right, Anita. You look at the Kings tonight, 17 turnovers and only 23 assists. That's not a good assist to turnover ratio. It's just not. It's not a good assist to turnover ratio. By the way, you can also join me and Ryan right here on the stream by donating on the Super Chat. We'll take the 2 highest ones over the next 5 games. And then, of course, a wild card like Dorian was. So if you contribute, you're eligible. And we got merchandise coming out soon, t-shirts, among other things. So I'm very excited about that. 120 to 109. Again, I'm looking at the numbers here. Only 31% shooting from downtown from the Suns, but they shot 57% for the game. And the Kings shot just under 45% for the game. They made 14 of 38 for 36.8%. But that assist to turnover ratio was terrible. All right. Here's the difference in the assist to turnover ratio. For Sacramento, 23-17. For Phoenix, 33 assists, 13 turnovers. There you have it. And how about Chris Paul tonight? 19 assists. 19 assists and only 4 turnovers. That's a clinic at the point guard position. All right, let's see if Ryan can hear me here. He's going to a little makeshift internet. All right, what's going on with the internet tonight in Sacramento, my friend?
Dabes, I think we got an issue with the platform, so we're going old school right now. You got me okay?
Yep, I got you fine. You're all good. All right,
Good.
so we didn't hear your letter grade. What's your grade for the Kings?
I'm giving them an A. So I'm grading that on expectations. I'm grading that on consistency. I'm grading that on the fact that they've had 2 All-Stars and they're 3rd in the West. And I just feel like this team, especially not making any moves at the deadline to come out the last 2 games and play the way that they have, even though they lost tonight, it just solidifies that, you know, they are ahead of schedule. So for being ahead of schedule, they get an A in my book.
I agree with you. This is a very good one. The Suns were passing the ball around like Dallas, wide open shots all night. Yeah, you know, when you shoot near, 60% for the game, you're getting good looks. Absolutely. And Dorian getting a lot of love from the crew here, and we appreciate that as well, John. Thank you very much. Dorian's a big contributor, and we really appreciate that. Plus, the Suns did destroy the Kings in the paint all night. That's been an issue really the whole season. That's been an issue the whole season.
Yeah, it has, Grant. And as the Kings go deeper into the season, especially trying to make a playoff push, they're going to have to figure out with the tools or the players that they have what they're going to do, because that's going to become even more significant as the playoffs approach. Yeah. The game slows down a little bit to a degree, and they've got to be able to defend inside, and that's the weak spot that they have to get figured out.
Well, first of all, they have to make the playoffs first. Okay?
Correct.
They're a De'Aaron Fox 2-week absence from not making the playoffs. Okay. And I'm just telling you, when you look at the West, that's a real possibility. So I know everyone's talking playoffs this, playoffs that. And I get that. You're 3rd in the West, but it's February still. It's not April. And you and I, Ryan, have gone down the schedule a lot here coming out of the All-Star break. So now you have it. Okay. 32 and 25 at the All-Star break. But let me do this again for the folks that weren't with us when we went over the schedule. All right. Coming out of the All-Star break, home Portland. Now, you ready for this?
Yep.
At the Clippers, 2 games at Oklahoma City, which is a very good team now. Home Clippers, home Minnesota, which has got Mike Conley at point. New Orleans at home, who just embarrassed Sacramento without anyone on the floor 2 weeks ago. Knicks at home. At Phoenix, hello. Giannis, the Greek freak, comes into town, Milwaukee. Then a road trip at Chicago, at Brooklyn, at Washington, at Utah. Not a very formidable road trip there, but they're all on the road. All right. And the Chicago-Brooklyn is back-to-back. You come home and play, guess what? Welcome. Here are the Boston Celtics waiting for you. Oh, and then after Boston, here comes Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns. Then you have a home game against Utah. Here comes Mike Conley and Gobert and company, Minnesota. 2 games on the road at Portland and Damian Lillard. Come back home, take on a bad San Antonio team. At New Orleans, may have Zion on the floor then. At Dallas, home Golden State, at Denver. So, I'm not trying to be Mr. Debbie Downer here and Mr. Negative, but you got to make the playoffs first. I don't know about you, Rhino. That's a daunting schedule the Kings have coming out of the All-Star break.
Oh, Grant, absolutely. We've talked about that schedule for weeks now. And when I say playoffs, let me be clear, because I said this a couple of nights ago. They are in the playoffs now. To make the playoffs, they have to, this next 17-game stretch, act like it's the playoffs. And
that's right.
Defense is going to tighten up as we get closer to the playoffs, especially with teams like the Lakers, Clippers that have made the big trades to get different players, Phoenix, who we saw tonight. So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with the schedule, but the one thing that I would say is they're very good with their back against the wall, and they're very good against teams that are elite. They play better. So that could play in their favor.
All right. For those of you that are watching in Northern California, we're happy to have you. For those of you watching around the world, it is great to have you joining us from all parts of the globe. Guards and wings got to keep their men in front of them and stop all the easy drives. They do, but here's the problem. When they get beat, there's nobody back there that's a threat. There's no shot blocker. There's nobody back there that is going to intimidate anyone. And one thing, Anita, the Kings have shown they're not capable of stopping anyone. And that's not going to change, Anita. We're not going to just wake up after the All-Star break and watch the Kings all of a sudden play good defense. They are who they are. We know their sample size. We know what they are. Not going to happen.
Well,
right,
Grant, they're capable in spurts of playing good defense. You know, we saw that in the Dallas game yesterday. We saw that in the first quarter of the Phoenix game, or Dallas game 2 nights ago. We saw that in the first quarter tonight against Phoenix. And Anita is right to a degree. The guards are having a big trouble on the perimeter. So they've got to just figure it out as a team.
Anita's spot on. Absolutely. A shot blocker, but if that's all you can do, all right, that's Davion Mitchell. And I know Davion Mitchell's not a shot blocker. I'm trying to make the point. You got to be able to do more things to be on the floor and help a team win. Like Davion Mitchell, we know how good on the ball he is, but he's a liability offensively. At least he's been a liability this year. And I hate to sound like I'm ragging on Davion Mitchell. I mean, he's in his second year and he can help the team, but unfortunately he hurts the team offensively when he's on the floor. The defense can play differently against the rest of the guys on the floor. Here's Mitchell tonight. Perfect example. He played 10 minutes, 0 of 3, no points. Sorry, you can't have your point guard playing 10 minutes and not scoring. Can't have it. Just can't have it.
And you can't also have a guy that is on the floor for defense get 2 fouls within like a 4 or 5 minute span. That's the other thing. Usually he's pretty good about not doing that. But, at best, Davion's a 0 in the plus minus column offensively.
Yep.
Typically.
He had no assist either. And here it is. If you're going to play in 2023, unless you are a freak, and I'm talking about just a defensive freak and rebounder, you can't play. And if you're a guard and you can't score, you cannot play in this day and age of the NBA. When I mean you can't play, I mean you can't play consistent minutes. Can't have it. In this day and age, if you're a guard and you are not able to score, you are going to be on the floor on a very limited basis. That message is spot on, 100% correct.
So let me ask you this question, because you called these games. How would Doug Christie fare in this game right now?
Fine. Doug was more than an average offensive player. His offense was not showcased because of Mike Bibby and Chris Webber and Vlade and Peja. But when Doug had the ball, Doug was a threat to score. You had to guard him. You don't have to guard Davion Mitchell. You had to guard Doug. Like, Doug is a far superior offensive player than Davion Mitchell. Far superior offensive player. It's not really close. Davion Mitchell has to become a threat. He doesn't have to become an all-star caliber offensive player. But, Ryan, what he has to become when he has the ball, he has to be a threat to score. Right now, he's not a threat to score.
Well, in his second year, I mean, he's still got some time to grow, but I don't think that's going to change in the next 17 games, Grant, 16 games.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
And Ryan, I'm going to go right and talk to you why I don't agree with you about the defense. I don't want to hear about defense in spurts. Defense in spurts doesn't win you consistently in the NBA. The Kings are a bad defensive team. Let's acknowledge that. Let's all admit on the stream, the Kings are a bad defensive team. Not an average defensive team. They're a bad defensive team. The reason why the Kings are third in the West right now and have a record of 32-25 is for one reason and one reason only, because they have the top scoring team in the league. They roll the ball out and they're going to go, we're going to outscore you. Well, on nights when the shots aren't falling, Ryan, like lately from downtown, they're not going to win every night. They're going to lose half their games. The Kings in their last 10 are 5-5. So we know what they are. They're not just going to come out of the All-Star break and start playing defense. They don't play defense. They're not going to play defense. They're going to either live and die on outscoring the other team, plain and simple.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Grant. And I mean, a spurt's better than nothing, but no, they're not going to play 4 quarters of defense. There's no doubt about that. But that's why, I mean, you and I, we had this conversation extensively. We talked about a backup point guard for this team.
Yes.
Because why not bolster the offense, right? Because one player is not going to make that difference on defense at this point for the squad.
100% correct. And I thought that Monty McNair should have gone out and gotten a backup point guard for this team at the break. Now, there are still a couple of players out there on the buyout market, and maybe something will happen during the All-Star break. But, like, here's Fox again tonight. He played 38 minutes. Now, you have 9 days off. I know the All-Star game, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be concerned about this stretch coming up that I just read off with Fox if he's going to be playing 38 minutes every night. That's not something that you're going to love to see from a Kings perspective.
No, you're not going to love to see it, but it may be necessary. And, you know, we've seen what it's done to Sabonis, right? I mean, I'm not going to say he's broken down, but he's definitely gotten banged and bruised throughout the season with the minutes he's played. But that's why the Kings need to find different combinations with the players that they have that can give Fox that extra break, that can give Fox, you know, maybe a minute before the end of the quarter, and then get the, you know, break during the quarter or in between quarters and then back in the game. So they've got to figure that out.
Kemba Walker is not good anymore. I mean, trust me on that. I know people I've talked to in the league. I wouldn't be going after Kemba Walker. All right. I'd much rather have John Wall than Kemba Walker. That's me. But again, here's what I do know. Yeah, you can ride the back of Fox. But again, if he goes down for any period of time, you're screwed right now. You're absolutely screwed. You're right. John Wall is gone already. So thank you for that. Kings will slide into the 7th or 8th seed heading into the playoffs. They're counting on their draft rights to the Euro player to come in and play backup point guard next season. Oh, you're right. They are looking at that for next season. But I don't care about next season. Yeah. All right. I don't care. I care about this season. Next season can blow up in your face. You can have a training camp injury to De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis, and all of a sudden you're like, oh boy, we're screwed. Go after this year. This year, you're 3rd in the West. You're 32-25. Don't worry about next year right now. Now, I'm not saying you mortgage your future, and I agree with Monty McNair for not doing that at the trade deadline. But This year is right in front of you. Make the playoffs this year and win a couple games in the playoffs. That's the goal right now.
That's all it is. It's getting into the dance. And I think they can do it. You and I, we had the conversation. You have them at a 6. I think they're going to be a 7. But either way, technically they're in the playoffs. That's debatable if the play-in is the playoffs. But a collapse would be a catastrophe for Sacramento. So they're all in. And I think they'll figure out a way to get it done.
And you do have to get in this year. I'll tell you, can you imagine us coming on after game 82 and the Kings didn't make the playoffs? That would be that. You want to talk about bad karma, bad everything, bad mojo. That would be horrible after everything that we've talked about this year and being at 32-25 at the break. If somehow this team slid, now you made a good point last week. You said, well, Grant, if De'Aaron Fox gets hurt in the next game and misses the rest of the year, maybe we wouldn't think that. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But if he stays relatively healthy and Sabonis, and that were to happen, that would be a disaster.
Oh, absolutely. I already said I don't think the city would get over it. They would want wholesale changes at that point, and going into another season, it's just unfathomable. But I don't think we're going to get there. That's the point. And we talk about if Fox goes down, well, guess what? Any other player in the league could go down as well during that tough schedule that we're playing.
Yep.
So you got to look at the other side of the coin as well.
All right. The Clippers are playing the Warriors right now in LA. And it looks like the Clippers have a good chance of winning that game. They're up 114-101 with 9 minutes left. Not over, but the Warriors keep just falling off the map here. And without Steph Curry, obviously they're having problems winning. So 114-101 with 9:25 left. All right. Final thoughts, Rhino, as we get to the All-Star break.
Yeah, I think don't focus on the loss. I mean, I would take the macro approach. It's yeah, Grant and I nitpick, but it's because we're just telling the truth. You know, it's
Yep.
not doom and gloom. This has been a great first half of the season. If
Great.
Grant, we came on game one and I said, "Hey, you're gonna have 2 All-Stars and be third in the West," would you say, "Sign me right here"? Like,
Yes.
so I'm excited. They just need more consistency, and they need to fill the holes that they have offensively, and it's going to be fun.
I'm with you 100% on that. I'm going to look at the positives right now. I'm not going to look at their recent play. I'm going to look at the 32-25 at the All-Star break. I'm going to look on where the expectations were on opening night. I want to look at where the expectations were, Ryan. Do fans remember that this team started off 0-4?
No.
That's right. This team lost their first 4 games, and they're sitting here at 32-25 at the break. I'm giving this team an A. This team has exceeded expectations. As you said, 2 All-Stars. There are nothing but positives right now for the Kings. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know how they're going to play coming down the stretch, but I do know this. If this team stays healthy, they'll be in the playoffs. They may not be a 3 seed, but they're good enough where I firmly believe they'll be in the playoffs. And I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. Anywhere in the playoffs is a successful season. If you are the 8th seed and you're playing the number 1 seed, that's a successful season for the Kings. Even if you should get swept in the first round, that to me would be a successful season.
That's right, Grant. If you get in the playoffs, you have hit the goal, and you're playing with house money at that point, and
Absolutely.
it becomes a celebration.
Buddy, enjoy the All-Star break.
You too, Grant.
All right. Appreciate it. That's Ryan. We appreciate all the effort with the internet issues right there. I will just say it's been a lot of fun doing these shows, and now we're going to adjourn for a week and a half. I've got my other shows right here on YouTube. But again, I want to thank you for your support. You all have been amazing. Our numbers, we've had over 30,000 on post-game shows before. The first Lakers game, we had 35,000 people watching. We've been over 30 before. The other night, in the Dallas game, a combined 20,000 plus watching these platforms. So thank you. I appreciate your support. Ryan appreciates your support. And we're just getting started. You know where I'm coming from? This is going to continue to grow. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It would really mean a lot. And hit that thumbs up. We do appreciate it. We appreciate you. All right? You all are outstanding. Eddie, Lydia, Paul, everyone else. All right? You all are the best. I love doing these shows. So does Ryan. Make it a good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, not lighting the beam tonight, but there are many games left. Hopefully, good fortunes ahead for the Kings. So long, everybody.